All right. The other thing that is a really fun topic to talk about is Johnny's post. If you guys saw his post earlier in the group, that is just a fun kind of growth topic to talk about where you would go, what you've done so far in the past, what got you here, um, and what would you do differently. I think this is a really great place to talk about this. So you guys make sure you engage with that post. Um, all of us are in different stages of our business. Paul's been in business one of the longest, I would say, in the group for straight jujitsu. It's over 20 years, if I understand correctly. I'm pretty sure it's over 20 years. My husband and I, we are May 3rd, I think will be our 14th year in business. Um, 14th year in business, which is crazy. And then Johnny, I think, has been in business 8 years. A lot of people are all over the place. Or maybe you've been in business for 20 years. We have clients like this too. Maybe you've been in business for 20 years, but you haven't really tried to grow your business. Or you recently brought in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Or just something recently has changed in the last couple of years where you're now making a run at it. We're all having all of us having done this before, started from nothing, moving up to a systems based business that's successful and profitable. We all have learned a lot of things along the way. And this is a really great opportunity in a very special group to be able to um, ask questions and time collapse the process of growing your gym. So engage on that post for sure, and tell them what you're doing. I could do the same post. We started, for those of you who don't know, my husband and I started our Brazilian Jiu Jitsu Academy subleasing a corner of a CrossFit gym. And all of our mats were stacked in a corner. And we would lay down a mat, or we would lay down the mats every day before. That was basically the warm ups, because it's exhausting work to carry zebra mats. So uh, we would lay down the mats every day, and then we'd have class, and they would train, and then clean up the mats, let them dry, and stack them back up. So we started there and moved into about 2,500 square foot facility, which was just down the plaza. It was in the same plaza, which made it really nice. But it was just like one mat, one like long narrow building. We had an office. We had a desk sitting out there actually, restroom, couple of changing rooms, and one mat. And it worked really well for us for a time, but then we were really limited by that setup. You could only have one class at a time. So we asked if our landlord had any more space. And the space next to us, after 20 years of being rented by the same tenant, actually opened up. So talk about things happening the way they're supposed to, or opening up for you like that. The space open to us, or space next to us, opened up, so we took over that lease. So now we have 5,000 square feet. That's where we still are today. But most importantly, I'll tell you, this is if I can give one hint, we have two mats, and I cannot recommend having two mats enough. Amongst people in the tribe business, the tribe entrepreneurs, the tribe executives business group, you will see a lot of different structures for the businesses. A lot of gyms are structured differently, but kind of one of the things that our academy is known for is really having very minimal hours and really packing in a lot of training in a very, very short amount of time in a reasonable space. A reasonable size space. It's not a 15,000 square foot gym. It's a 5,000 square foot gym. And we are open in the evenings only, period. We don't have morning classes. We don't have day classes. You don't have to have an insane schedule to have a lot of people train at the same time. But in my opinion, you do have to have two mats. I think that people will look at, like, we had the opportunity, we had the option, I should say, to blow out this big wall in the back and have just one just massive mat that would be like 3,000 square feet. But we knew that if we would have done that, we would have never been able to run two classes concurrently well. There are people who have a large mat like that who run two classes concurrently, but in my opinion, one of the other classes suffers. So, for example, if you have a kids class on one half of the mat and an adult class on the other, you're going to hear kids screaming while the adults are training. And I just don't think that that is very conducive to a solid, like, serious training session. So, it takes away the options. You almost have to have like a first level class of adults and an advanced level class of adults, maybe on the same mat. But again, you're still not, people are feeling uncomfortable. They're not ready to be surrounded by that environment. I think it opens up a lot of variables, truthfully, and why people quit when you end up putting too many people on the same mat, even if the mat itself is large. So I just cannot recommend enough having two mats. That's the best, one of the best decisions we ever made, is to leave that wall. We have a little door. We do have regular, well, it's a regular size door. It's not like a little door. But there's a door between mat spaces if somebody needs to go quickly. One of the coaches needs to move from one side to the other. But at the end of the day, they are separate spaces. They are separate, their own separate energy, their own separate entity, if you will. And it's allowed us to double the size of our school, and double the offerings of our school, more than double the offerings of our school, because we keep those mats separate. So I am a huge proponent of that. But not everyone does it. Everybody's got their format that works for them. Just so you know, having that door, if you say, well, what about having, 50 people on the mats? We do have some pretty sizable classes, not 50 if we can help it. But we've had some big seminars, and occasionally what we'll do if we know that we're going to have a big seminar is everyone goes on to one side to teach, and then when they go and rep and drill or roll or train or whatever, they will actually separate to both mats. So we have the functionality of that, but we retain the option to do multiple classes at the same time. So that's one of my biggest tips, I would say, for, something I would definitely recommend as you are growing your gym. What's the setup? What should I do? What should I learn from? Don't fall under the shiny object syndrome of I have the biggest mat space in town, because at the end of the day, you will, I think, lose some opportunity to have multiple programs running at the same time.